Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Heather Frierson, and I'm your host of the Business Spotlight podcast. And today I have Ashley Hamilton, co founder of Aiki. And I am really excited for you to be here today, Ashley, because we're going to dive into your business ownership challenges, best practices, and really just share a sneak peek of what it's like to build and operate a business. So if this is your first time to our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when a new conversation drops, just like this one. Well, Ashley, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, I would love for you to just to give our audience a brief overview of who you are and your background and tell us a little bit about your business.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm Ashley. I been a firefighter for 15 years, and about 5 years ago, I started working on some really big problem sets that we had, which was basically like indoor mapping for firefighters, where grandma is in 301 that's having the heart attack. Where's the stairwell? Where's the elevator? Where's the alarm control panel? And I got kind of good at that and got into Mass Challenge and won gold in Mass Challenge, and then won FM Global's Resiliency Award, and started winning some grants. And then in 2020, after Uvalde, the shooting that happened in Texas, me and my co-founder at that point realized that was the most important thing to work on. And so we started solving that problem and helping children inside of schools. And so we've developed a crisis management software program for schools and school shootings now.
Wow. I have to say that's probably one of the most important things I've heard lately and so valuable, considering what Georgia just went through, and I'm sure you know of
Yeah.
a lot more.
Yeah.
So, how does it actually work?
So it's the same idea of knowing how to get through a building, but we take this thing right here that's a tool within
Okay.
3 feet of us 98% of the time. We turn it into a notification center, and we notify people to get behind a locked door, because even as of last week, there's never been a child that has been killed, or sorry, there's never been a breach of a locked classroom door. It's the most important thing. And if you remember anything else from this entire podcast, you've got to get behind the locked door, and that's going to save
Hmm.
your life. And unfortunately, that's what happened in Georgia. People came out of the locked door and they were shot. But what we are able to do with that notification is then ask additional questions. And then we realized, wow, we have a lot of really great information about this data. Can we turn it into a heat map? And so then we are able to take crowdsourced data from inside the building, and we turn it into an interactive digital map for the first responders, so they know exactly where to go.
Now, in order to have that heat map, it has to be installed on your phone, correct?
Yes, we sell to school districts, or churches, or
Okay.
places of worship, or business centers, and we give that app to your employees and to the
Mhm.
children and to anybody else that has eyes and a phone or an Apple Watch or an issue device. And when you need to go into lockdown, you send the notification. And then we use ninjas because we want children to think and act like a ninja. What's that like? Well, they're smart and they're cunning. You can't see them. They're not being themselves. They're acting like something else. They're make believe. And so they act
Mm.
like that, and they get through the event so that they can become resilient through really troubling things.
Wow, that is powerful
Thank you.
and so smart. Um, there's so many questions I have trying to come off of that. One would be is what have you seen has been, it's even hard to find the word to say. How have you seen this been helpful for situations?
So what's important is the reps. Like when we were little and we were in school, they taught us what to do if we caught on fire. And that's a really scary thing, right?
Okay.
We all were told to get on the ground and roll around. And I think we all practice that at some point, right?
Sure.
And I think it's another episode of that. And we are in it. It is epidemic. It's not
Mhm.
going away. As much as we want to blink it away, it's not going away. And so we need to practice the reps. So we have to tell people to get behind the locked door and stay behind the locked door. And what's really
Mhm.
great about the app is every time you open the app during one of these drills or events or whatever, you get your personal ninja report, and it tells you how good you did. So it's personalized to every single person so they can get better at the event, right? You get your own personal ninja report. And then the school then gets to see how fast they're getting to lockdown. And
Mm.
it's like having a stopwatch on every door. And then you're able to compare third grade to sixth grade. And like, hey, third grade beat sixth grade this year, they get a pizza party. And it's important to have these these reps to feel good so that in the moment, if it does happen, that you know exactly what to do.
So how are you getting the word out about this app so that schools, even in our area, can know about it?
We've partnered with a handful of people. The I Love You Guys campaign, they are the standard response protocol for how schools should be notifying in case there is a lockdown, in case there is a hold in place, if there's a shelter in place or there's evacuate. There's a very
Mhm.
common it like information behind that. We're on their website and people contact us through that. We also have some email campaigns going out, and we've also partnered with mappedin.com, which is helping us with the mapping piece. They can do some AI mapping, and it takes a picture of a picture and turns it into a 3D model in less than 90 seconds. It's incredible, and it's a Canadian company that are giving away these maps for free.
Mm.
If you're a school district, do not pay for maps anymore. Your maps are free.
Wow, that's so good. Because I'm a
Yeah.
parent. I haven't heard of this. I'm going to go tell my school about this for sure, as everyone else should. And just to kind of flip to the business side of things, and you talked about email marketing. What is really one area that you have found that has worked best, maybe best practices for getting the word out?
That's a really great question. These things are, we're just learning how to do them. We just hired a marketing agency to help us. We've
Hmm.
sent some touches out. Um, it it's the people that are already trying to solve the problem that really understand it. And
Hmm.
what we have created is, unfortunately, beyond some people's imagination. They haven't asked for it before. They're okay with the
Hmm.
Band-Aid solution that's currently in place.
Hmm.
And what we're finding is people that have any kind of military background or
Hmm.
have any type of police or first responder, it's the response side that seems to be really connecting with it, because
Hmm.
the people in the schools just know the school world, but they don't know
Hmm.
when the help comes. We don't know where 301 is. I've never been to your school and I don't know where 301 is. I don't know where Sally is in 1712. I don't know where that is. Imagine going to a
Yeah.
mall and finding Sephora. Like that's our problem set, but people are bleeding and dying. And so
Wow.
that's, we've got to create these maps that are interactive and digital and live so we know exactly where to go. It's a lot like Waze, but it's
Hmm.
crowdsourced data, but overlaying that onto a real-time heat map so we know where to go. And
Yeah.
as for how we're getting it out, we're trying a lot of different ways right now.
Yeah. I would think it's so important to get the word out for this. And so having a good marketing strategy, I would think is so important to get even advocates like
Mhm.
me and other parents. But I really want to talk about with something like this, a lot of business owners who start their own business, they have just a lot of passion and and getting the word out or getting the job done. And so I wonder when you're wearing so many hats as the co-founder, where do you find yourself spending most of your most of your time? Are you working in your business, like the job itself, or really thinking about strategy and business planning?
We had a meeting with one of our mentors who used to work for Dell in the C-suite, and he basically told us, like, listen, right now your product's ready to sell, put it down. 10% of your time needs to be spent on product. 30% of your time, I'm sorry, 60% of your time needs to start working on marketing and sales. And then 30% of your time needs to be dedicated towards fundraising because we'll need another 600,000 before the end of next year. So to keep us afloat while we sell and get more income and build the team out and all this other stuff. So, and he said that, and he said, I sell it to you this way because you probably should be spending 6% on your time on fundraising and 30% on sales and marketing. But it's the chicken and the egg scenario that
Hmm.
all founders live in, the liminality of the betwixt and the between of what
Yeah.
our life is. And
Hmm.
I think that all founders know that
Hmm.
world.
Yeah, I've heard that phrase before. What comes first, the chicken or the egg, and scenario like that. So you're really still in this season of maybe finding investors for your for your
Yes,
products?
we are currently raising right now. We would love to talk to investors that have potential to invest in I guess like not feel good stuff, but like value add or, like
Hmm.
contribute to society or, something along those lines. There's been a lot of investors that are more keen on that side. We are in a very long sales cycle, and that turns a lot of BCs away because it can be a year-long sales cycle. And so we've got to
Hmm.
crack that code too. We're in a knife
Hmm.
fight. And
Mm,
if you know you're in a knife fight, you know you're in a knife fight, and you just got to power through.
yeah. Yeah. What has been one of the biggest challenges you have faced that you've overcome, and what lessons have you learned from that?
Um, I think a long time ago, this was like one of the most powerful things. Before I became a firefighter, I was a financial advisor in 2006, 7, 8, which was the beginning of the Great Recession. And I was working for Smith Barney. Smith Barney went through a C Corp or a Citigroup, and I was like, all right, let's get over here to Wells Fargo. I'm sorry, I was Wachovia, and I started working with Wachovia and another investor, and we were managing $150 million under assets. And in 3 months, I lost $50 million. And it was like the sky was falling, and I did not know the power of a mentor. And
Mm,
so I quit my job and I went and became a firefighter. And I put myself through a technical college, and I love risk assessment. It's my jam. And so far I've done a lot better with my life than I have with other people's money. Joking. This is all jokes. But like the sky wasn't falling and those funds
mhm,
did come back up. But I didn't know the power of a mentor. And now that I'm
mm.
in this, I am surrounding myself with people that can answer the questions that I don't know how to even ask. And I think that's really important. I don't know the landscape. I don't know what's in front of us. I have a really good understanding of firefighting. I have a really good understanding of the product that needs to be there. But surrounding myself by people that can help me ask the next questions is really important.
What has been the most surprising to you by surrounding yourself with people like that? What has been, as far as business, what's been the most surprising thing you've learned?
I think mostly that people really want to help. I
Mm,
think this is it's a piece that affects a lot of people. And a lot of people have stepped up and helped, and it's amazing.
mhm.
As for business, like actual like nuggets, I mean, there's so many things. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. I'm sure there's tons. Well, let's go back then and just hit on what it looks like to even work with your co-founder. A lot of our listeners out here are either solopreneurs, there have co-founders and partners and investors just like you. What has that looked like, and how do you figure out the roles?
Yeah, I got really lucky. The co-founder I I asked was actually my captain 8 years ago when I first started solving this problem, and he was an enabler. And I was his little teleport, and I said, "Hey, I need a computer program," and he gave it to me. I'm like, "Hey, I need a laptop," and he said, "Here's a laptop." And then I started iterating on it and got really good. And I'm currently like the emergency planning specialist for the Austin Fire Department, and I manage that program for us. And then when Uvalde happened, I went to him and I said, "Hey, listen, we're really good at working together. We've solved problems now for 5 years. Do you want to do this thing?" And I went and talked to his wife too and made sure that Tasha was on board with all of it because it's a big commitment.
Mm,
And I feel so lucky to have already had a previous life with him and another like job where you literally have to trust your life with someone. Like
mm,
like and he also has a background in military. He's a Green Beret and an 18 Delta and had worked with alert.org, which is like the center for how we should be responding to these events. And he's been
mm,
writing and teaching and making the national curriculum for them for like the last 12 years. And so it I got very lucky and I picked someone with a high trust and high like
mhm.
no like stick with this and grit and determination. And I just so lucky that he's my partner, like in this
Yeah,
event. There's no way we think of problems a lot the same way, but then we come at it a little bit differently. He's a little more methodical, and I'm a little more shoot from the hip. And sometimes
Hmm.
that's good, sometimes that's bad, but we work it out.
Yeah. And not everybody can say that. So I think that's awesome. Like you already know how you work together. And so as you think of the future, how will you build out your team, or what does that even look like to make sure that, you're not wearing all the hats anymore, but you're building a team? What does that look like?
So we currently have 10 people working with us right now. And different people wear different hats at different times. We had Human Collective out of Canada that got us up off the ground. And then we hired two programmers, one that's a Canadian, one that is an American, that are coding for us right now. And they were in the advisory role, making sure that everything's done, and also the front end work. But most of the back end work is done by those other two now. And then we just hired that marketing company, and there's 5 people that work for the 4 people that work for them. And so Damien retired earlier this year from the Austin Fire Department, so he's working full time for us. And
Mm,
so we just it you like it's 10% right now. Like our focus, like our the team is taking care of this, and we got people in charge of that. Damien and I, we divide up the work. We, make calls, we make sales calls, we do all the other stuff, we
hmm.
fix the website. It's just, it's a full, it feels like you're playing a basketball game and you're full court press all the time. That's what it feels like.
I was just thinking though, when you said that someone came on your team that was retired firefighter, that's you almost have like a built-in core or pool of people that you can pull from that really would know how to work this product and sell it and to be passionate about it at the same time. And so I wonder, is there training for this? Is there ways that you've already set up and implemented how you would train new team members? And what does that look like?
So new team members that are working on the development side have a ton of information on GitHub and on our Notion. And then Linear has been amazing for us to track
Mm,
product development. And we run in 2-week cycles there. And then as we sell, we're making the documents right now and making the videos and figuring out how to onboard people. So we're flying the plane in the
mhm.
air as we're building it per.
Yes, that's a lot of people listening, I'm sure, and entrepreneurs. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to get back a little bit to the heart of what you do and just really share with everyone what is the most important thing that you want everyone to know and why they need this product.
I think I think it's such a hard prop, like school shootings suck, right? Let's start there. Like
Mm,
that's a universal, like that. I can't believe we live in this world. I
mhm,
think that oftentimes we get stuck in a grief cycle, and there's 5 different stages of grief, right? And
mm,
and we're hit so fast with the next one that we never make it through acceptance. And
mhm,
like it's the different stages are like denial, begging, anger, like, and then finally acceptance. And I think
mm,
it's hard for Americans to get to that because we're constantly thrown back in it.
mm,
And I think that because of that, we don't realize the immediacy of getting the reps under belts and how important it is to practice with the people around you, and how to train to lock the door and to hide and turn out the lights, and to trust your equipment is a term that we use a lot in the fire department. Um, and and how important it is to be upfront and to talk about like what happens if you catch on fire. You're going to stop, drop, and roll. And it needs to
mhm.
be that simple. And it needs to be that way because that's going to save someone's life.
Yeah. I love that you're saying that. It just needs to be just as simple as stop, drop, and roll that everybody needs to know.
Yep.
So when you have that in mind, looking to the future, knowing how valuable this is, where do you see the company in 3 to 5 years?
Well, I would be very comfortable with partnering with a handful of other companies like Everbridge. They are probably known the most in the um, I guess in like the private sector, and they have some APIs that we can build into, which will be great, and helping like organizations that already have established notification systems. The part that we bring and we have filed our international patent for is this interactive heat map. And if we can build into other people's existing notifications and create this world where we trust the citizens inside the building to give us really amazing data so that I, as a first responder, know exactly where to go to stop the bleeding and stop the dying. That's going to
Mm,
be a big win because every second matters. Our world as first responders is we have to solve problems in 300 seconds or less, where the consequence of failure is death or catastrophic loss. And every second matters. And the faster we can get the people inside to tell us where to go, the faster we're going to get to solve the problem.
Yeah. So how do you go about setting those goals to get there?
Um, we look at it by people that are under the platform. Our goal by the end of next year is to have 133,000 children on our platform, which would mean that not only do we have that many, but we would also be cash flow positive, which is not bad for a third-year startup. And those are our goals. And we kind of work backwards that way.
Mhm.
But eventually, like I think this is a really novel piece of that really solves a lot of siloed
Mhm.
data information, like the Aurora shooting that was in the mall, not the mall, but the movie theater. There were only 1,000 people there, but there were 6,000 calls to the 911 center with only 12 dispatchers. And it took them 30 minutes to process all those calls. And that's just too much for 12 people. But if everyone had a phone and you turn all that data into a visualization of where you needed to go, that would
Mm.
that would help. They thought there were multiple shooters, but they're 98% of the time there's only one shooter. There's only been a couple
Mm.
two shooters, and most of those times they're in the same room. So if we can neutralize the threat, we can then get to the people that need the help and then get them to the hospital because we can't do anything there. We have to get them to the hospital.
So smart and so needed. Thank you for even creating this. I want to just get to our fun rapid fire questions and transition
Okay.
there. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Sure.
Okay. What is the key to success for you?
Well, I'm glad that we prepped for this because I pulled out this thing right here, which is an infograph. I love infograph. I love pictures. I'm dyslexic,
Awesome.
so pictures mean a lot to me. It says, "What do you need? What do you believe you need to success is hard work?" And that's actually not the case at all. Half of it is what you work on. Half of it, a quarter is hard work, and then a quarter is the people you work with. And I can't
Mm.
underscore how important it is to build the right team. We've been very lucky in making sure that we have a
Yeah.
good team around us and mentors because this is a big problem and we can't solve it by ourselves.
Yes. I really love that graphic. I'm a visual person too, so I like that. All right, what's the one piece of advice you would give to other business owners like yourself?
Oh, I've already mentioned it, but you just got it. You don't know what you don't know, and that's a lot,
Mm.
and you got to know that up front. Build a good team, like really build a good team, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, another rapid fire, but this is a fun one. What is the book or podcast that you're listening to or reading right now?
Oh, the best book I've read in the last 5 years is called A Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. And he went through and he looked at 10 different sectors and found the top 1% that like performed that way for over a decade. And that book is phenomenal. I think everyone should read it because it breaks down what makes 2 + 2 = 6. When you have two
Mm.
people that like are really good together, like how do you make more of the team together? And
Hmm.
it's phenomenal.
So, Culture Code by Daniel who?
Coyle, I'm sorry, Coyle. There's the dyslexia.
We got it down. I got it. All right. Another fun question. If you had a little bit of magic dust and you could just sprinkle it in one spot of your business, where would it be?
Well, I already told you the 10, 30, 60. I think right now on sales and marketing, and if we can close a couple deals and that'll take a lot of heat off. It's that chasm that everybody tries to get across is the before the income versus after the income. And I'm sure we'll
Hmm.
hit more things afterwards, but getting a couple across the line will be awesome for us. It'll be a big win
Yeah.
for our development team and morale, and it'll be
Hmm.
awesome. And it's coming. There are
It's
a
coming.
couple that they're on the line. It'll probably happen the next month, which is really exciting.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
awesome.
Thanks. It is
All right.
really
Before
awesome.
we, yeah. before we get to the last question of the day, share with our audience how they can follow you or learn more about your business.
Yeah, so we are at Aiki Plans, AIKIPLANS.com. And I think that we are also on LinkedIn under Aiki Plans, and also I think Instagram and Twitter, I believe. And
All the right
I think,
spots.
yep, all those things under Aiki, maybe even Classroom Safe. That's that's the product that we're selling right now.
So AIKEplans.com, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or X, I should
AI,
say.
yeah, AIKI, Aiki, like
AI.
Aikido. It's
Awesome.
it, it basically Aikido is the martial arts of using somebody else's energy against
Mm.
them to get the problem in the most effective way.
Which is why you have your little ninja man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It
All
is.
right. Last question of the day. What is most inspiring to you today?
Uh, I think that I'm really inspired by people showing up and working on hard problems and not giving up. And I think that that's thrilling to see people do those things,
Mm.
to sit at the table and have hard conversations, to have parhesia, to do whatever, and to work on really hard problems that other people would be afraid of working on. I get really inspired when I see other people do that. And then, I mean, yeah, just those things in art, amazing art's
Mhm.
really phenomenal too. But yeah, people working on hard things and not giving up gives me a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, me too. That's good. Well, this was an awesome conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story, and I know our audience did too. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you,
Um,
Heather.
of course, I just want to encourage everyone who's watching today to save this show, come back and watch it again because it's important to know. And Ashley really gave some great nuggets of wisdom too for business. So we really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get a notification every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thanks to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you to you, Ashley, for being with us today. It was really great.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.